And away we go.
And this is episode 32. We've been away for a little bit, but before we...
Part one.
We have Jet's Pizza. I got the calzone again.
And I got my normal thin crust, cut into squares with pepperoni and jalapeno.
We've been out because I started a new job and Steve was doing some family things. And anyways, it's been a little bit...
Vacations and birthday parties.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. But we're back, at least hopefully back to the, twice a month or whatever. Anyways, we're here today. And the first thing we were going to cover is what they're calling the election autopsy that some portion of the Democratic base did. And the big takeaway is what wasn't in it. And what wasn't in it is any analysis that makes any sense or is it all honest with anybody? Because one of the key things that they didn't talk about, for example, was the issue with Gaza and Palestine. And the reason why this was a big deal is because this is one of the primary issues that the people that would have normally voted and maybe didn't were screaming their heads off about. That at the time, I thought that maybe Kamala said all that she could have about it. I'm not saying she did or didn't, but what I am saying is that it's a valid thing to bring up and analyze, and for them to just go, and just not address it is a huge, huge, huge problem. And apparently anything else that might have been relevant, they kind of glossed over that as well.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest elephant in the room is the Gaza situation. Secondly, I just heard from, other sources and other media pundits and people online and their take on on what they read. And, they essentially said the same thing, that these guys have no fucking clue why they lost. That this document pretty much said absolutely nothing. So I skimmed through it. It was so fucking boring. I can speed read pretty good. And I just didn't even bother because I was like, all right, I'll take their word for it. I can trust these guys. And when I skimmed through it, I couldn't even find a goddamn thing that mentioned anything about anything. It really made no sense. It was so stupid. It was a bunch of fucking mumbo jumbo bullshit. So at least that, from what I saw, I didn't go into depth, like I said. Yeah, it's so disheartening because this all goes back in my mind to like Bernie Sanders and thinking that, in picking Hillary over Bernie when he was clearly the front runner and clearly probably would have won that election, in my mind. I think that you might want to go like this out.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's once again, it's the Republican Party, or Democratic Party being completely and utterly fucking clueless as to how many people are progressive and not just these fucking capitalist neoliberals that they want to placate, that they think there's somehow some middle ground that they can still, come to terms or come to some agreements with Republicans. And at this juncture, there is no possible way.
If there were non-MAGA Republicans still in office, that might be a thing, but there aren't. I mean, they've effectively neutered or removed any, and so... Right.
And McCain was the last of them. All the other ones are gone. And even some of the diehards that were speaking out the loudest are gone. Marjorie Taylor Greene, abandoned ship, Tucker Carlson.
I mean, ironically, Carlson is looking... I won't say liberal, but he's looking reasonable now. But I don't think it's so much that he's changed his position, but just the right.
He's an opportunist. So
he's an opportunist, and the right keeps shifting so far right that when he gets in an argument with Ted Cruz, well, gee, Carlson looks pretty intelligent all of a sudden,
Right, but like I said, the Overton window has shifted so far to the right. America was already semi-fascist to begin with, to basically fascist. It's always been this way. We've already talked about this a million times. That's why, skipping 6 weeks, I think in this 6 weeks I watched less and less news than I have in over a year. It just becomes so exhausting, so tiresome, and people were like, no, we gotta be out there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you're gonna exhaust yourself. Look, this is an ongoing struggle for 200 fucking, what is it now, 50 years?
Yep. Approximately,
it's gonna be
250, give or take, yeah.
Yeah, it's 1776. So isn't this the 250?
Yes. But to your point, It's been a little over a month, and the amazing thing news-wise is how little has changed in that period of time. Like, all the major issues, they're basically the same. We're still over in fucking Iraq. Nothing has fucking...
Or Iran, you mean?
Iran, you know what, yeah.
The Strait is still fucked up. The gas prices are still fucked up. ICE is still fucking with people. People are still fucking with ICE. Like, you know, none of
the major shit has changed. And in fact, we usually vote in almost every election. There was a recent election, but it was a runoff.
Yeah.
And part of why I didn't bother is my wife said, hey, this is a runoff in the primary.
Mm-hmm.
We did vote in the primary, and the people that are still running off, if either of them were to get the vote in November, we'd be happy enough with it. So it kind of doesn't matter, is how we approached it.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I don't know enough about these two clowns. You need to fuck me. Maybe I should. I don't know. I've just lost, like, I don't know. Like I said, it just becomes so mentally, like.
I have found one thing that's been happening is that I have found more and more that I end up getting in arguments with people on the left who just insist on seeing things one particular way in order to make a point. Like the most recent guy that I had blocked, he kept saying, "Oh well, Texans are so stupid. They keep nominating these people like Abbott." And I kept having to point out to him, look, more often than not in the governor's race, the vote gets split like 3 or 4 ways. So the idea that most Texans voted for, even most voting Texans voted for Abbott is not true.
Right.
I'm not trying to say that Texas isn't about as bad as it is, and it's pretty bad. But let's not exaggerate it where we don't have to.
Well, I mean, they had this state gerrymandered, and they got look, a good portion of this state is a bunch of fucking racist, bigot, fucking morons. But you got Houston, very diverse city, extremely diverse city actually. When you start breaking it down, Dallas not so much, Austin not even so much, and I made this point months back. This place is not progressive. It's neoliberal when you're talking about left here, which in our reality isn't even left. Left is progressive. Left is socialism or even communism or anarchism. So this is just all of the same spectrum of American neoliberalism, neoconservative policies where they battled it out since Reagan. Before that there was a left, sort of, a social democratic left. If you wanted to call that a progressive left, I suppose that existed up until about 1980. But since there is no left in America. It's right wing, and it's either right or far, far, far right and fascist. So it's right, far right, and fascist. And right now we're in fascism. And our Democrats are right wing, neoliberals.
Not necessarily the Democrats as individuals,
but as a collective.
But as a
and that's the decisions they make on who runs mostly for Senate seats and for the federal, and who runs for president. Now, we had a progressive at one point, Bernie, who would have fucking won, like I said, fucking 10 minutes ago, and they didn't run him. Why? Because they're neoliberals, and they think that they can play with these fuckers. And they need to be like LBJ, they need to be like FDR, they need to be like Teddy Roosevelt, and they need to be like Lincoln, and stick it to these motherfuckers. Because there is no negotiating with fucking fascists. You can't. You can't.
And there are some younger people like AOC who are following in Bernie's footsteps.
Right.
But
we need more AOCs. We need
more
Mondani's. We need more. We need Gavin Newsom. It's just
Newsom is too far. When you
liberal.
really start looking at Newsom, he's pretty far right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is not going to work. And this is to the whole point. Let's just wrap this up.
Sure.
The whole point is they missed the fucking huge elephant in the room, and that is Gaza. The kids that are coming up far left that have deconstructed capitalism, deconstructed patriarchy, deconstructed hierarchies, deconstructed the racist, fucking bigoted core of the United States of America, and these politicians that they're running are not going to fucking cut it. No, that is and they completely missed the boat.